Hey there, it's Josh Hinds. I hope this message finds you well, wherever in the world you happen to be. And I want to share just a minute with you. Well, first, I'd like to thank you for coming to the page because obviously you're on this page to find out a little bit about my motivational audio CD. Hopefully, you can see that. That's it, and it's called Why Perfect Timing's a Myth, Tips for Staying Inspired and Motivated Day in and Day Out. And to tell you a little bit about it, it's actually a lot more than just a bunch of rah-rah messages and feel-good messages. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. That kind of stuff's really important. But also, key lessons is what it includes as well that you can take throughout your day, use in your profession or personal life, and really sort of, get a hold of the various lessons that are in it and, use it to improve in different areas. So, without further ado, here are a couple of the things that. Oh, and one of the things I want to say too is in terms of material that's in it, it's over an hour's worth packed in this CD, so you're really going to get your money's worth. Um, and it's a nominal investment, and actually, but I'm really not going to get into the price because all you got to do is look below and you'll see the great price that we got set up for you. And now let's get into some of the specifics of the lessons that you'll learn. Of course, I've got an introduction in there. And then one of the lessons you go over is a quick tip for strengthening your personal network. Say personal network, because, don't forget, relationships and things like that are key. As one of my friends, Bob Berg, to paraphrase him, he often says, all things being equal, people will always choose to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. So obviously, the stronger your network is, personal, professional, the more likely people are going to be to want to do business with you, seek out the services and products that you have to offer. It's worth thinking about. So we get into that lesson. I have another one called Seek the Counsel of Qualified Mentors. Everybody can probably relate to wanting, say for example, in a job or, in whatever area it is that you want to improve, finding a mentor or somebody who can give you advice to help you in that area. But it's also important that the people that you're reaching out to are qualified. In other words, for example, I'll give you a quick little story, for example, to kind of illustrate that point. Over the years when I wanted to start in specific businesses, or even when I had the idea to start out with, what I do now on the motivational websites and things that I run, I would just reach out to anybody and I would ask for their advice. And of course, the challenge with that was some of the people that I was reaching out to, it wasn't that they didn't really believe in me. It was that their only frame of reference for my idea was it something that they could do? And since it wasn't, they couldn't really grasp they couldn't grasp their, for lack of a better term, they couldn't grasp their head around the idea that I or anybody else could accomplish it. So I'm not saying, so I'm not saying it's not important to get feedback from our loved ones and people like that. All I'm saying is be careful that you don't let your dream or idea, sit out there according to what somebody else who doesn't necessarily have that experience, and sort of let it be up to them whether or not you go for it. That's kind of a long-winded way of saying it. And of course, we tie that lesson up and sum it up a lot better in that particular lesson called Seek the Counsel of Qualified Mentors. And then there's, making the choice to identify what brings you happiness. Very important lesson. I'll kind of go through some more. There's simple steps make a big difference. How to use the power of positive self-talk. Great lesson. That's something that everybody can benefit from. Reasons for keeping a journal. That's a lesson that's really important to me. I think it'll be really important to you as well. It's like that lesson of history. you've got to know where you're coming from so that you can improve going forward. And so keeping a journal, that's one way to do that. There's a whole host of other important reasons for doing that, and we get into that into this CD. Another big one is using visualization as a tool for your dreams. And it really is important. So of course we're going to get into some goal setting, and in particular in that lesson, really visualizing what it is you want, making it concrete so that you can almost take those ideas with you and hold on to what it is that you want. And of course ultimately use that visualization and use what it is that you want as you're holding up here in your mind, using it to get you through the day. And ultimately getting you to the point of accomplishment that you've identified when you set the goal in the first place. And there's a whole bunch of other things. Make another lesson called Make the Commitment to Action. I am really, one of the things that's really important to me, and I always, and if you ever hear me speak or we work together, and you'll hear it all the time in this CD, one of the things I am really big on action. Whatever you want, without a doubt, you have got to make action your ally. Because as somebody said, what I think was brilliant, as somebody said one time, all else fails without first action. And it's huge. It's one of the most important components. You can sit around and want something forever, but until you break it down and you get whatever it is that you want and you put it in the form of an action item that you can do, a real action that you can take that'll move you forward towards that thing, it's just going to kind of sit up in the atmosphere, for lack of a better term, and ruminate in your mind. And because you won't be seeing any real progress on it. It's not that you can't do it, it's that you haven't took any real action to get yourself started. But by the same token, as you take action, your motivation grows, and ultimately it actually becomes, easier to fight off procrastination and things of that nature. So you got to be in the game, and the way you get in the game is by identifying an action point, getting started, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, all those things that were blocking you and that were hard to deal with just become easier and easier. So that's a very important lesson. Again, that one's called Make the Commitment to Take Action. Then there's, a lesson called Success is a Journey. There's Strength in Numbers. These are some various different ones. And then a great lesson called Build Your Dream. And then, then of course another one on goal setting called Following Through on Your Goals. How many times have you ever had a situation, for example, where you wrote a goal down, you were just sure you were going to accomplish it, but what actually happened was the particular goal or thing that you wanted at one time kind of got stuck on the shelf. Maybe the notebook that you wrote it in got stuck on the shelf, and then all of a sudden you come back to it later and you say, why didn't I accomplish that? Well, again, it's for a whole host of reasons, and that's what we're going to talk about in this particular lesson, which is, how to do that. Following through on your goals to ultimately see them through to completion. There's a whole bunch of, like I said, these are just a few of the lessons. I've got quotes in here, lots and lots of things. Another really important lesson called Model the Success of Others. Another one called Don't Be Afraid to Chase Your Dreams. Very, very important. If the idea, and I say this a lot in the work that I do, if the idea was implemented in your mind and it came to you, then you're as capable as anybody of accomplishing it. Now that's not to say that it's not going to be easy, but the truth is, and it's not going to say that you might not need to learn some more skills or take on some more skills. But whatever it is, it's within your ability and your God-given talent to accomplish that thing. It's not to say that it's going to be easy. We're not talking easy, but we are talking about doable. Okay, and so that's a lesson that's going to help you. There's a whole bunch of, like I said, there's a whole bunch of other ones. Again, this audio program is called Why Perfect Timing is a Myth. Tips for staying inspired and motivated day in and day out. I appreciate you listen to me as I kind of share this with you. As always, I am very, very thankful for your support, whether it be the products I offer, visiting the website, being on part of the newsletter. through the presentations or coaching that I do, none of this would be possible without your support, and I'm very thankful for it. If you'd like to get a copy of the CD, hey, the price is right below. Just press the order button, we'll get one right out to you. And also, there's a table of contents. You can kind of learn more about it. Very thankful for your support. And remember, it's your life. Live big.